Good morning. Good morning. Yay, right on time-ish. Cool. Getting myself ready here. Swiping over so I can actually see the size of the font of the words that you will write to me by saying hello. Yeah. So, here we go. Good morning. It is, what day is it? It is Wednesday. It is March 18th. It is Wednesday, March 18th, and this is Destination Decluttered Live. My name is Beth. I'm a decluttering life coach, and I'm here to help you with your clutter. So that's why we are here today. So good morning, everybody. I'll be here for the next hour or so talking about clutter in your home. So if you're interested in that, let me know. Here we go. We got some stuff going on here. So good morning. Yay, nice to see you. Looks like an okay day. This is the last TikTok live of the week for me. Usually I do a TikTok live talking about clutter and whatnot. Clutter in your home, clutter in your calendar, all sorts of stuff like that. I do a TikTok live multiple times during the week. But I also do a lot of traveling, so this will be my last TikTok live today, Wednesday, March 18th. We also have a, what do you want to call it? We also have a YouTube live this evening. If you want to know about that, there's the Destination Decluttered mailing list group, or just group, maybe mailing list. Maybe I'll eliminate that. There's the group. In any case. So what do we got going on this morning? So in case you are struggling with clutter and in your home, what is clutter, you may ask? Clutter, at least my definition of it, is the stuff in your house or life that you no longer want, and yet there is a struggle to easily remove it from your life. So there's something that's holding you back, that's pulling you back, like your hand is taking the item and going to put it into a donation bag, and something else pulls it back and says, no, don't do that. And we hang out and we get some decluttering done while we're doing a live. And what else? I help answer your questions and help you kind of go beneath the hood. I like to talk about stuff in a road trip or driving metaphor. And so I'm here to help you kind of figure out where you're stuck, or you maybe know where you're stuck decluttering. You may have a pile of stuff in the corner, a countertop that just, stuff accumulates on, maybe a bunch of laundry, maybe some sentimental objects from somebody who has passed. And if a bunch of laundry, maybe some sentimental objects from somebody who has passed, no problem. If you're not, though, no problem. If you're not, though, and you it's causing a struggle in your life, then here I am to help. So good morning. Good morning, Flowy Flo. Good morning, Krug. Good morning, German Maid. Nice to see you, and thank you for the flowers. Those are very nice. So a lot of times when I do these TikTok lives, people will show up and they will just kind of check in, and they use this opportunity, this kind of container, and almost like this chunk of time, this space to put things in, to do some decluttering while we're doing a TikTok live. So if you want to declutter while I'm here, kind of keeping you company in the background, sometimes that is something that can help you, feeling like you're not alone when you are decluttering. Having somebody there at the ready to answer a question as you are moving through your decluttering process, knowing where you stop. And sorry, I was just looking for and so I share with you, where today, if you were to start decluttering today, what is stopping you from going through some of the stuff and making a decision? Because that's what decluttering really is decision making, is deciding, I've got this item, I'm always showing my mug with my stuff, but I've got an item, I've got a thing, I've got a mug. And then you ask yourself, do I want this or not? What do I want? Do I want it or do I not want it? And then a decision is listening to your answer to that question and then acting upon that decision, taking action. I do want it, therefore I will put it on my desk and put my highlighters in it. Do I not want it? If I don't want it, what's a good way for me to let go of this? Now, what do I mean by a good way? I mean by it's easy for you to do, but you also feel good about it. Like technically, it could be easy for you to throw stuff in the trash can. Would you feel good about that? Now, I throw trash in the trash can, but if I see something of value, of usefulness, it may not be useful to me. I may have plenty of mugs, but then I look at it and I say, there are people that don't have any mugs at all. And so I would find a way to easily donate that item, easily put it somewhere that somebody else could benefit from it. So if it's not easy to do that, that's again why a decluttering life coach, that's why I show up to even just talk you and walk you through the process. Hey, Melissa, good morning. Walk through your own thought process. Notice that phrase. It's a thought process. It's a process, like an order of operations. One thing, first you get the bread, then you get the peanut butter, then you get the jelly, that type of thing. Certain things go in order. What is your thought process when you declutter? Now, you may not know it beforehand, like I couldn't tell you mine, but you can walk yourself through it in real time. You can say, hey, what is it about when I think in my head, I really should declutter the clothes in the closet. But then when I open up the closet, I go, ugh, and then I shut the closet door and then go scroll on TikTok. I can't be the only person who's done that, right? I don't know. But so I say to you, what's your reason? What is the thought when you get that ugh feeling when you open the closet? What is a phrase? What is a thought? What is a sentence of words associated with that feeling? Sometimes the thought happens before the feeling. Sometimes the feeling happens before the thought. Taking both into consideration, because your body responds to things and your brain, your thinker, your word creator, your image creator also responds to things. So if you have any questions about clutter or decluttering, you did it yesterday. Okay, Lulu. Okay, awesome. Whatever it is, I hope you feel good you did it. Rock on. Rock on. Decluttering, speaking of doing it, decluttering is a process. Man, we wish stuff could be done in a day. Maybe we are just frustrating. Yeah, I didn't want to make this many decisions right now. Interesting. Yeah. Notice about yourself. You may have overdone it in the decision making. Maybe the next time you declutter, you declutter less. You make fewer decisions so that you end up feeling good about what you did. Yeah, decision making you are using your muscle. You are using your brain, and that can be tiring. If you're thinking a lot, if you're doing a lot, the next day you may have some repercussions. That's why it's so great to have, rarely would I say that clutter is great. Sometimes it's nice to have kind of, as I like to say, the shallow end of the declutter pool to swim around in. That would be the surface area clutter. So I like to describe clutter in 3 kind of categories, but also 3 layers, one more deep than the next. You've got your surface clutter, like I do right now. I've got paperwork, I've got a clipboard, I've got some clothing, I've got, a tissue, some earrings, stuff on the surface. Now, luckily, for most of us, the stuff on the surface is the easiest stuff to deal with. It's kind of boring and it tends to be there all the time, so you may be tired of the process. You may be tired of the process of cleaning surfaces, saying, I just cleaned this counter. What do you mean it's messy again? Hey there, Laura Gibbon Voorhees. Nice to see you. Um, you may be tired of doing surface area decluttering, but be grateful it's there when you want to take a break from the more deep end, the stored clutter, the stuff in your closet, the sentimental clutter, even deeper. Okay? Yeah, nice to see you too. So I offer to you, if you are feeling like you can't deal with the stuff in the closet, the stuff that's packed away from when your mom passed away, practice decluttering by practicing clearing your surfaces. Cleaning is different than decluttering, but clearing your surfaces in a way that you feel good about it. You feel good about what the surface looks like when you've removed items, and you feel good about where you put those items. Notice the underlying motif, the overlying motif, the feeling good about what you're doing. Because when you associate good feelings with an action, the next time you think of that action, your body's going to remember that it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. So that will make it easier for you to start again. Now, LGV knows about this because she's been working on many areas of her home since we've kind of met here on TikTok, and continues to, and some stuff can be tiring, and other times you're feeling good about what you're doing, but getting closer to, as I call it, your destination decluttered. Your destination decluttered. Doing things that drive you, that you are driving the car, and the things that you are driving, the road you are on, the things you're doing are leading towards a destination that you are looking forward, not just looking ahead, but looking forward to getting to and enjoying the way you get there. Okay? Now, AI is saying a decluttering coach discusses why you're stuck on decluttering. I don't know why. I don't know why you are. I know why I am. I know why some of the people who have shown up on the TikTok lives and the YouTube lives are. But I don't know why you are. But I can help you possibly find out. All right, so speaking of that, not sure why, but the comment section feels kind of quiet this morning. Maybe everybody's hungover because yesterday was St. Patrick's Day. Maybe TikTok is blocking comments. That I don't know. But if you have a question or a comment about clutter, I am here to help you with your clutter situation. Yay, Laura. I've had to move some stuff around for the guys doing renovations. It's a chance to declutter. You know what I like about that? I like the fact that you noticed that moving stuff around, not hungover, right there, me neither, just tired. Still waking up, getting my coffee now. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure because TikTok has been weird, and I want to make sure that you're not trying to talk to me and I can't hear you. There we go. Cute red boxes behind me. Those are vintage train cases. They usually came, or cosmetics bags, I guess you could call them. They used to come with sets of luggage back in the day, and I store things in these. So that's what those are. But moving things around, sometimes clutter is there because it has stayed there so long it almost grows roots. One of the great things you can do is even just move things around, uproot them, and remind yourself you can move these things. So sometimes even touching an item, moving it from one place to another. Sometimes people get upset that say, oh, all I did was move things from one place to another. Well, maybe one of the things you did was you reminded yourself that those things are movable, that you can move something from one room to the next, or from that room to, a bag to go donate or sell or throw away. That you have the power to move things anywhere you want. Now, currently, you may be just moving things within the confines of your living environment. So, you move it from the living room into even the garage, let's say. So notice that you're making a decision. I don't want it in this room, and I don't even want it anymore, but I'm putting it in the garage. And then there's where I show up, is when you are struggling with getting the things that you no longer want from your house. You've moved them to maybe a storage unit that you're paying monthly for. Maybe they're in your garage and your garage is starting to pile up, but you're stuck on the next step. You're afraid. There's a bit of fear. Nothing wrong with noticing the fear. There's a bit of fear about what the next step is. What's going to happen if I do that? I'm afraid. We are rarely, think about this, we are rarely afraid something good is going to happen. We are hoping, secretly hoping, or overtly hoping that something good will happen. So therefore, fear means I'm afraid something bad is going to happen. It's the opposite. I hope something good is happening. Or even better yet, I just know that something good is going to happen. As Kate Bush might have once said in a song by Pop Will Eat Itself. Alrighty. So Wheeze, if your brain is cluttered from other family members' clutters in your home, this is where I highly recommend, and again, not knowing your family situation, I love that you have that insight. Where your stuff is really bugging me. Now, it's one thing if it's in somebody's private, if they've got their own bedroom or whatever, but the common areas of a home, at least this is how I like to coach about it, and this is how I feel in my own home, that there should be a certain level of expectation of keeping the public areas, the common areas that everybody uses, should be pleasant to everybody in the house. So if your other family members have clutter in the public areas of your home or the ones that you all commonly share, perhaps it is time to have a conversation with them. Telling people that they're doing something that bugs you before it turns into like a major knock 'em out, drag 'em out can be the first start in changing it. Now, a way to do this that may get you the result you want, more so than if you've tried before, is to notice your tone of voice and the words you're choosing. If you approach somebody in a judgment-filled, accusatory tone of voice, that will give them something to react to. That may not be the best way to go about it. What I recommend is not having your nervous system all aggravated and going to them in the aggravation. Waiting till you cool off a little bit. Not even waiting till you cool off, cooling off yourself. Fan down. This is a new one for folks with me that have heard me talk about the all the downs. Fan down. Cool down the flames of irritation. Like some sort of calming balm, as it were. Calm down your nervous system. Approach them with neutral or love in your heart. Hey, I don't know if you realize this, but your shoes piling up at the door are really aggravating to me. It's frustrating to me because I'm tripping over them. I can't open the door all the way. I would like you to do something about that. Start a dialogue with them. But if you start a dialogue up here, they're going to match your energy. So if you are calm and reasonable, the thought is they'll be calm and reasonable. Yeah, well, you know what, Wheeze, you're saying nothing works. It's so disrespectful. It's been years. Maybe what you've done on all these years hasn't worked, but you could try something else. Another one, and this is where it necessarily doesn't go back. It's not changing. It's changing them, but it's also changing how you respond to them. Now, again, I don't know people's family situations, and you will deal with yours in the way that feels the safest to your nervous system. Maybe you don't want to be getting in fights with people all the time. Maybe you would rather do the thing yourself and keep the peace, and yet you still feel unpeace. You're not feeling peaceful in your body. People who don't want to change will do anything to stop changing. We do this ourselves. If somebody else likes how it is and somebody else is picking up after them, why would they change that? Yes. Now I like this. This is a good start, Laura Goodman Voorhees. This is my goal, X, Y, and Z. Can you please help me by doing 1, 2, and 3? Now the only thing I would say is this, is enabling. What I would say is this, is there is a benefit to having a decluttered home for everybody involved in the home. Sometimes people don't care how it gets decluttered, and if mom is doing it or somebody else is cleaning up their stuff, they may be reticent to change. Because why I have to do something now, all these years you've been wiping my butt and now I have to do it myself? You know? Dorothy Orange, I'm not going to apologize for insulting President Trump voters. I'm not. I don't think I said I feel very distrustful about them. But remember, Dorothy, you're in my house now, and in my house, I talk about whatever I want. You can be quiet and listen. You're willing, I'm willing to keep you here if you're quiet and listen. Or if you continue to be argumentative, I may ask you to leave. But I will not apologize for something I didn't do. And I have my thoughts in my home, and I share that. Okay? So, yeah. Hoot Mom, I love this. Boundaries. So we were talking about boundaries, at least I was talking about boundaries, when Weeze was saying it's been so disrespectful, allowing people to disrespect you. Saying, I would like you to do this, and then when they don't do it, what do you do there? Now, I mentioned I am a decluttering life coach. I am not a family counselor. I am not a relationship counselor. So I say to you, giving you some ideas of how to approach it differently than you have in the past. Yeah. Differently than you have in the past. Yeah. So, Laura Goodman Voorhees, Daniel Striped Tiger Kitty says hello. I love it. Sandra D, I love being in your house and respect everything you say. Thank you. Thank you. I like you here too. I have my own opinions and I want to make them known because I don't have anything to be ashamed about. But I will say this, I like to have a civil conversation. So thank you. Yeah, and Weeze, I say this with encouragement, okay? What I would start with, okay, this is what I would start with, being the decluttering life coach, is I would say to myself, what do I want? I have that statement written on a piece of paper here in front of me, and I've done this since 2003. Oh, thank you, LGV. So Weeze, what I would do is before you even go out and try to change them, you're going to change what you do, okay? And what I would do is I would get tools of the trade. I would get myself calmed down. I will get myself quieted down. I will sit down. I will pick up a pen and a piece of paper, ideally a notebook, and I would write just the heading, what do I want? And then I would even say, because it's going to be more specific, because that can be too broad, declutter-wise, what do I want my home to look like? Because what you want the home to look like would probably benefit other people in your house too. So it's not help me with something I want. It's help us get something we want. The next one can be, and it's like, what do I want? I don't want to be picking up after everybody else all the time. I want people in my household to take responsibility for their own items on a regular basis. I want to stop cleaning up after other people, and I want to start having more time for myself. Yeah, and LGV, it's very subtle. I correct myself on this all the time. Because I think it's the way, can you do me a favor? And yet the action will benefit the both of us. So getting clear, Weeze, on what you want is establishing a pin between where you are and where you want to go. That creates a line, And then the line, it's a little dotted line of process. Now, you've done this before. Maybe you've even never done the what do I want and writing it down. So this already changes the game. Because when you have something, and this is why I call my decluttering coaching destination decluttering, is that it was such a game changer for me to even think in the way that I'm asking you or presenting to you to think this way. What I knew was I didn't have a destination, a goal, or if I looked ahead, I was not psyched about where I was headed. So instead, I asked myself, and this was literally, this has been a lifetime process. What's my destination? When you have that to aim for, then you can have more clarity as to what you are doing is going to get you closer to it or further away. And you can also share that vision with the family. Wouldn't you like to be able to have friends come over and the house is not a mess? Wouldn't you like to easily be able to find what you're looking for and not freak out every time you're going on a trip? Where's all my stuff? You're running late for work because you can't find your stuff or your laundry is not folded. So notice that there will be, I'm assuming there would be some sort of Venn diagram overlap of what you want and how it benefits other people in the house. But you getting clarity on what you want gives you confidence to say, okay, I know some things that can be done. Notice I don't say that I can do. Yes, you are part of it, but you do not have to be the only one. Okay? So even sitting down and writing your destination. And this is something that can start with decluttering, and it is a life coaching approach as well. I was thinking of that the other day because about 5 years ago, I started kind of creating my official coaching, but I was coaching myself. And I wrote down in the summer of 2020, I looked, what did I want? And the neat thing is I love looking back at 6 years ago that I did this, because a lot of the stuff I wanted, I helped make happen. Ooh. All right, now, I will say this, Hoot Mom. I realized when I allowed the last disorder of things to consume my house, I was in a relationship I no longer wanted to be in. Right, so notice how your exterior world reflected something about what was going on inside. Yeah, I'm so glad. I hope that that's a changed situation for you. So yay. Now, Laura, I love this because you're getting a little bit refining. You're saying the question that has been guiding me lately is, how can I make accessing this item easier? Yes. So number one, if I was to give you a framework of some questions to ask yourself to prompt some answers that would start to create give you some things to write down as to what you want for your destination decluttered, it would be, how do I want this area to look? Is always a good start because we are visual creatures and things tend to look cluttered. The second one, though, is, how do I want this area to function? And these are my 3 criteria of functioning. Okay? I want to easily be able to find what I'm looking for, easily be able to use it because it's in good condition, and easily be able to put it away. So notice, how can I make accessing this item easier? Is number one. Then, how can I make using this item easy? And that usually has to do with kind of curating your you've got 20 knives, but 10 of them are dull, that type of thing. And how can I make it easy to put it away? Because the ease of getting it and the ease of putting it away, especially the ease of putting it away, if it's not easy to put something back where it belongs, you will probably leave it on a surface for a longer amount of time because the putting away can be challenging. But if we solve the home for the item and make it easy for you to put it there, or easier than it is now, you are more likely to put it away instead of leaving it on a surface for a long amount of time. So just think about that. How do I want it to look? And if it looks good, making it look good is going to help you because we are visual creatures And we are affected by visual inputs. Too many visual inputs can be overwhelming to your nervous system, and everybody's notion of too many is on a scale. So your amount of too much may be my not a lot, and vice versa. So how do I want it to look? But also, how do I want it to function? Because I could seriously take everything off of all of my surfaces, hide it in a closet, and be like, look, it looks great. I know, though, because you have X-ray specs, and so do I. You know when there's a closet full of stuff. You can see through that door and know whether the stuff is hanging there all nice and neat and ready to wear, or it's all shoved in there like, as my mother would say, McGee's closet. You know that without even opening it. That's why you may keep the door shut. Or you may shove a bunch of random stuff in a drawer and then voila, junk drawer. That's okay. That's how you used to do things. There is a different way you can do this. Now, a junk drawer is, you know where things are, but is it easy to get to? No, because I'm always shuffling through trying to find the thing. Okay, maybe what I do is I take the items out of the drawer and I put them back in a way that makes it easier to find it. You know? So yes, ease. I am all about ease, as I joke that my memoirs would be called, or my decluttering book, which I will not be writing. That's why I show up so often on TikTok and on YouTube, giving you this stuff in real time. If I wrote a book, it wouldn't be out for at least 2 or 3 years. I ain't got time for that. I show up, I say, write down what I say. Literally, I mean, I don't want to tell AI right here, but like the videos of my TikTok lives and YouTube lives are uploaded to the Destination Decluttered YouTube channel. You're free to watch those and get all sorts of information right away. Now, those are recorded, so you listen to my answers to somebody else. But if you listen to something with an open mind and an open heart and say, how is what this person is saying, how could what they're saying right now apply to me? You will learn something about yourself. That's the benefit of these lives, is that you're not listening to some past version of me talking to somebody else. You have the opportunity to ask your question to me right here. Your specific question about decluttering, about where you're stuck with your clutter, and what are some alternatives to what you have been doing. Because if you have decluttered in the past, but you are cluttered now, and I mean like in a level of clutter that isn't just the accumulation of everyday surface clutter, there may be a different, better way. Yeah, filmed in front of a live studio audience. Exactly that one persona. Yes, live in front of a new studio audience. Well, it's Saturday night, right? So yeah, that's the beauty of the live. That's why I come back. There's something about the live that has a connection, and it keeps me coming back, because I know that there are people out there who think they're doomed with clutter for the rest of their lives. Because I felt like that for a while. Now I know it was different. And if it's different for me, it can be different for you. And I also know, frankly, that while I do one-on-one coaching with one-on-one clients where we meet on Zoom, so I have clients from all over the country, right now in my season of life, as I look side-eyed and lovingly at my travel calendar, I don't have the space in my own calendar to give the best value to new one-on-one clients right now. That's why you will see me this spring, especially in doing the TikTok lives and the YouTube lives every week. So I am here to help you, if you think about it, for free, basically. Because TikTok, it's comical how much TikTok I get. I think as of the entirety of last year, I made about $25. I will do a live where we are answering, we are solving problems, we are helping people, we are helping each other. And they're like, here's your rewards, and there's like a penny. So I don't do it for the TikTok monetization. I seriously am here because I know that a world full of people filled with the energy of I can do something to make my life better is an energy of love, and not just my life, but other people's lives. It's not inward greedy. It's yes and. I can help myself and help other people. And that is the kind of energy that's the kind of people I want to hang around with. I don't want to hang around with greedy people, and I don't want to hang around with people who are just going to be like, I can't do it. Now, we all feel that way in a certain time, but are you willing to try something different? I can't answer that for you. Only you can. And only you can prevent forest fires. But I'm here if you are wanting to change and you just don't know how. I'm sick of doing things the way I've been doing them because it never changes. How do I do something different? Right here. Okay? Yeah. And Penny Lou Magoo, hopefully you get more monetary compensation from YouTube. Oh, I get no monetary compensation from either of those. I will be honest. The money I make from my business comes directly from my one-on-one clients. Now notice, I almost said actually, Penny Lou, and you know this, because the declutter parties that I have, the declutter parties that we do, you pay a ticket to attend. I do that on a number of reasons. But all of the money that goes to those declutter parties, I donate to a food bank. Now, I could take a portion of that. But I know since the last presidential election, more than ever, I have felt the fact that there are people who are struggling so much more than me. Now, I mean, YouTube may pay some people. It doesn't pay me. But I do this. The only money I get from what I do is from my one-on-one clients. And so I say to you, yay for you. You're getting what I would say to a client for free. Yeah. And don't worry, I made the conscious decision to not make as much money so that I could have some time to spread the word to people who may not be able to afford the money or the time to have me as their one-on-one coach. I know one-on-one coaching isn't for everybody. It's for some people. And man, it's like if you think about it, one-on-one coaching is like going on a guided tour, a bespoke tour with a tour guide versus being on a bus with 50 to 100 other people going to where, the majority of the people want to go. It can still be fun and it can still be beneficial, but at a different level. But knowing that right now, as I look and I see, all sorts of wonderful things come up. Yeah. Okay. Way Out 211 just bagged up a ton of VHS tapes. Nobody wants them, but having trouble sending them to a landfill. Now, I would say this Way Out 211. Now, everybody, this is the benefit of, and the curse, I guess, of TikTok, is an audience from all over the globe. So the way things are done where I am may be different from where you are. I know that in where I live, outside of the Philadelphia area, I live in the Philly burbs. There seems to be a resurgence of kids interested in prior technology. Cassette tapes, VHS tapes, especially where they are, when you get things, when you are streaming them, they are trapping those, they're not allowing you to see certain things. So having your own physical copy of something can be really beneficial. So I will say this, Penny Lou Magoo is saying Salvation Army will take them. You never know who might want them. So if you are saying nobody wants them, maybe it's just your small circle of people. What might be beneficial, if you are, the trouble you're having sending them to the landfill is kind of a feeling in your own self of, I don't want to put it in a landfill. Expand your reach. If you are on other social medias, I'm primarily thinking of Facebook because I'm on Facebook. Again, noticing I'm drawing from my own experience, so this may not be true to you, but it may. There may be a way of getting those tapes to somebody else who wants them, and it will keep them out of the landfill. So you could ask your circle of friends, and this is a game changer. Listen to the subtleties. Do you want this? The answer can be no, I don't want that. Do you or somebody you know might want these? Is there anybody you know that might want these? Because then that allows people to expand. Oh, well, I don't want them, but is there anybody in my sphere who might be interested in these things? I know I have a friend who used to make notebooks from the covers of VHS tapes. So some of the ones that I actually had him make some notebooks for me for tapes that I I liked. Okay? So I offer to you, expand your idea. When you say nobody wants it, how big is that circle of nobody? Expand it to somebody. You could post it on your, Facebook community group. I have a bag of old VHS tapes. Does anybody want them? There could be somebody who wants to watch them. There may be somebody who wants to make an art project with them. Who knows? Expanding that idea of who might want them. Okay? An art school near you. Somebody, if you have a local theater, a movie theater that has people interested in films, maybe they want that. Okay? Just in a couple of ideas way out to 11. I hope that helps. Okay? Baby Sinister, how do I deal with photos? I want to put them in photo books, but it feels overwhelming. Okay, I get that. And I will be very clear. I will show you where I am in my stage of life. I used to put photos in photo albums. Within the past 6 months, I actually now did the opposite, Baby Sinister. So I'll just offer this to you. I took my photos out of albums because I found it very restrictive. They were taking up too much space for the stack of photos that I had. The photo albums were taking up too much space. I prefer myself to sort through photos by hand. I like to look at them close. I like to flip them over, all sorts of things like that. What I would say, so that's where I am, is I would say don't put them in an album at all, but that's just me. But if you want to put them in photo books, when you get that feeling of overwhelm, what is a thought that comes to mind? What is the thought that kind of exacerbates the overwhelm? Now, Grandma says, Grandma with a little Canadian flag, photos are hard. I sorted mine into totes as a first step. 1 tote for each child. Okay? This is what I would say. Honestly, Grandma, the next step for me would be flip over each one of those photos. First of all, I would, okay, now you've got a tote for each child. I would then, and you've done the classic chunking it down. Instead of all of the family, I have your tote, and your tote. Go through that 1 tote again. Look for duplicates. Look for ones that are blurry. Look for ones that you can do another declutter. Because the fewer, better photos, the more powerful the story is. Have you ever gone to like a concert? This happens to me all the time because my husband's a musician. And somebody in the audience takes a ton of pictures and they upload all the pictures. And then you wish you could just see that one good one. So I would say start with one of those totes again. And I would do this. I would go through and do another keep or let go of. And the next step for you would be to flip over those photos and write on the back of them the year, the people, the date, anything like that. To me, the information on the back of those photos that you write down is going to be so much more important than how you store those photos. Yeah, and totally. See, Grandma? Yeah, agreed. Lots of duplicates because in the days you would often get doubles or triples. My God, I remember those days. That's why I suggested that. So yay. So going through again, now these are all the ones for my niece. And so, okay, before, these are the ones that on the initial first sort I put into her thing. Let me refine that. And I say, attaching the information, the story is more important than the storage. I literally just made that up. The story that the photo reveals or represents, the people, where it was taken, the year it was taken, the month, any info is always going to be so much more important than how you store it. Because a stored photo with no information on it ends up being just junk. I know this because I have inherited photo albums that are beautiful Victorian things from over 110 years ago, but there's not a damn name in that photo album. So many pictures of mystery people, I pulled them out. They're not, I don't think they're family. I've pulled out the ones I think are family, but I'd rather know they're family. I would rather have received an envelope or tote or box filled with photos that had labels on the back of them than have them perfectly looking nice in an album, but I don't know who the heck these people are. Also, if anybody's been on the flip side of decluttering, where you are decluttering somebody else's house because they passed and they had a ton of photo albums, that can be overwhelming to somebody who has to clean out your house. This is why I have chunked down my photos. I literally earlier this year went through photo albums I carried around for 30 to 40 years. I saved the photos I wanted to save, but some of them are in there, seriously, were just fillers that once I took them out, I realized I don't need to make sure that all these pages are filled with photos. So I can let go of that one with the sunset because I know the sunset looked better than my photo. Does that help? I hope that helps. Thank you, Grandma, for mentioning it. Baby Sinister, I hope that helps. And I will just say this too, Baby Sinister, and anybody who's thinking about decluttering photos, I want to give you some context, okay? In the 3 levels of clutter, you've got surface, you've got stored is the next level down and deepest, and sentimental. Please know that photos are sentimental. So you are right now, if you're not comfortable decluttering even on the surface level, practice keeping your surfaces decluttered. Practice the art and science of decluttering on the surface to build your muscle of creating what you want. This is like swimming in the shallow end of the swimming pool and getting comfortable with the process before jumping into the 12-foot deep section. You will have a better time going through it when you've practiced the sorting and storing. Okay? Yeah. Yeah, and Grandma says some scenic ones mean nothing to someone who wasn't there. Yeah, and sometimes they mean nothing to the person who was there. Because we all, notice what we do, we try to capture a moment. But every single one of us who has taken a photo of a sunset, I've done it myself. It never comes out looking as beautiful as it does when you're there in person. We want to remember, oh my God, remember that glorious sunset in Key West? This was so good. I want to capture this moment. And yet, years later, I mean, even right now, this may crack you up. I have more photos on my phone right here of crocuses that have bloomed on my front lawn than I probably need. And the funny thing is that looking through the years, and especially where I used to post a lot more on Instagram and Facebook personally, this is the time of the season where I used to try to capture that moment because I would have pictures of my my crocuses. Now, they're important to me to remember, like, hey, through the hell of winter, the crocuses will bloom. Actually, I've got some forsythia buds. Yay, spring is coming. That gives me hope. But do I really need 14,000? Do I need to be taking pictures of my crocuses every day? No, but I have. The decluttering is how many do I keep and how many do I delete? And practicing that on a daily basis. Grandma, notice, back in the day, we used to get photos, like, paper photos, doubles. Now, sometimes without realizing it, we hit our button too hard on our digital photos and we go, dit, 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 and you got like 50. And, I got to delete them all. I'll just, and you can overwhelm yourself in that way. But I say to you, yay for wanting to go through photos. Yay for putting information on the back of those photos so you remember who they are. But also, part of the reason we save photos is, at least family photos, to me, is the thought of passing it down to other people in the family. The info you put on the back of the photo is as important, if not more so, than what's on the front. Think about it. An old-timey picture, black and white picture of some random old-looking dude without anything info, it could be a neighbor. Same photo, somebody wrote down Grandpa Murphy, Dublin, Ireland, 1872. Now that's a story with info. That is what you'd want to keep. So I say the next step for anybody, besides sorting them, you know what I mean? Sorting them into categories that make sense to you. And then going through what you initially sorted, weeding out. It's like your garden, curating your collection. How many pictures do you need to tell the story of your life? It's pretty deep. I don't know. I've got hundreds of thousands on my phones. But do I want to saddle somebody else with going through these and trying to identify these things? You know? Yeah, and it's so funny. This is where AI gets things wrong all the time. It was saying it up earlier. Decluttering tips for photo albums. Share your best storage hack. No, AI, it's not about the storage. It's not about the container you put it in, whether it's an album or a tote or a bag or an envelope or a frame. It's not about the storage. It's about the story. It's about the photo itself and what that is. You know, my high school graduation, 1984. You know, my wedding, 1992. Oh, I don't want that anymore. Put it in the trash. You know, my wedding, 2002. Oh my gosh, I want to keep this forever. Right? So the story is more important than how you store it. Now, the reason that people want to tell you about the storage is because the storage is a product. People can make money. Yeah, and it's not. I love this sorting. Grandma says sorting into totes did not feel perfect, but I know for now it saved my children this task. I love this about you, Grandma, so thank you. You did a great job. You did what millions of people wish their grandmas or moms had done, which is starting to do this yourself. I'm actually glad it does not feel perfect, because perfect is not a word we strive for here. Perfection will lead you to disappointment. Notice, you feel better knowing you did this part of it. So no, it's not going to be perfect, but it's better than what you started with. And then you, as we just noticed, you could go another layer deeper when you feel like it. And sometimes that can be a very surface level thing. Does my daughter look pretty in this? Are her eyes open? Is this a sharp photograph? Or, oh, here's a double of that one. I can let go of the doubles. And then the ones that remain, as I go through, I'll just jot down, because our brains are not a great place to store information. Our brains are meant to create. Our brains are not meant to retain as well as we want them to. So writing down the idea, the info you have in your head, get it onto the paper as well. Doesn't mean you need to delete this. Sometimes we can't, but your brain, as you age, may forget things. I'm already experiencing it myself. So write down the information on the back of the photos, not saying, oh, I'll remember that. And then you don't. This is why I write down the good things that happen in my life every day. Because right now, and granted, I'm in the habit of it, so I'm not in the habit of like remembering things, but so many good things happen that I'm like, when was that? You know, I look and I'm like, oh, okay, right. That was a few days ago. So I say to you, capture the good stuff. You've got it up here. Write it down. Share it with yourself, with other people, with the people that will inherit those photos. With you, so you don't have to worry about sharing that info verbally and have somebody else remember it. When you write down that stuff, it makes it more real for generations to come. I hope that helps. And yes, surface clutter, stored clutter, sentimental clutter, photos, things that touch your heart, things that tell you stories, that is the most challenging. How do we store photos? Boxes? You know what? I have a bag in my closet right here with some envelopes that I have written on the front of it. You know how I do that. Is it going to be the permanent way I do it? I don't know, but I would say this. How you store it isn't as important right now. So you are, I would say, put it in a container that keeps it out of the sunshine, keeps it dry. So a plastic tote. But I would say labeling it is more important than try to. Store it in something you can store stuff with. It will just be temporary right now until you decide the quantity and quality of photos and label them. Yeah, waterproof for sure in case something happens. Yeah. So don't get hung up on how to store it. We are here to help you with the decluttering of it and the labeling of it so that you feel good about what you're keeping and what you are sharing with others. That when you hand down those photos to somebody, whether consciously or after your passing, that it won't be a big tote of clutter. That it will be something that is a family story. And even the family history photos, it may be easier for other people to get them from a box or something if they want to scan them, if they want to store them, that it doesn't take up a lot of room, you know? Yeah. That's fun. Laura Gibbon Voorhees offers hubs, sorted photos into tubs with focus on daughter, son, family, etc. Notice that. It is taking a giant pile of disorganized things and chunking it down into categories that make sense to you. Daughter, son, family. And then she says, I am thinking a Christmas picture party might be fun. Yeah. So at around Christmas or around any holiday, when you're getting together with the folks, here, let's get out some of these. And then also, notice this. You could do it all together because not everybody's memory of a situation is the same. I may be blocking out what year that was, and somebody was like, no, this happened just a few weeks ago. I literally lopped a year off of my grandmother's life because I forgot that she passed in 2016, 2017, regardless. And my sister was like, oh, no, that was whatever year. And I was like, oh my God, you're right. Thank you. Because my memory was incorrect. So having it there, and then also seriously dividing the labor, having other people write down, everybody gets a, it's almost like playing cards. Deal out some photos. And then everybody tells their story, but then that person writes down that info on the story. Yeah. And then the Hive Collective can help mark the photos on the back. Distribute them like cards. Okay, everybody gets 5 photos right now. Keep it small so you're not overwhelming. Like a hand of cards. All right, you go first. Pick a picture and then tell the story and then write the story down. And does anybody else have a story that they could add to this? Now, the story doesn't need to be once upon a time in a galaxy far, far away. No, it can be Grammy Hickey, 1953, Dedham, Mass. Something like that. I think that sounds really fun, LGV. I do. I say, why not look for doing it? I don't know if you celebrate Easter, but why wait till Christmas to see if that would work? You might even be able to create its own event. We're going to play with photos and you're going to come over for dinner and we're going to have a good time and we are going to hang out and go through photos together. Because going through photos together creates a sub-connection because then you will have that memory of the time that you all got together and swapped family stories. Christmas because daughter lives far, far away in a galaxy far, far away. Woo. The other fun thing though, LBD, nice to see you. The other fun thing is this is something you can do over text. You can take a photo and take a picture of a photo and send it to the family thread. Say, oh my gosh, do you guys remember this Christmas of 1983, bloody boop? And then people can download it to their own things and then you will have shared that story. I remember this. This was when we went to go see, World Party play at Great Woods or whatever. My goodness, I just glanced at the clock. You guys, we only have less than a minute left, so I'm going to wind down and sign off. Couple of things. This is the last TikTok Live of this week. Next Monday, I believe, I will start up, but there is for the Destination Decluttered group, on the secret page is the schedule. Next week is pretty is pretty loose too. Yeah, it does. Time flies when you're having fun. I agree. We do have a Destination Decluttered YouTube tonight. Check your secret page to find out the time, okay? If you find what we were discussing today has been helpful for you, what I would say is there is a schedule for the TikTok lives and the YouTube lives. So you can plan to tune in when I'm going to show up. But I don't share that with just anybody. I share it with people who say, yes, I'd like information, please. And you tell me that by putting your name on the Destination Decluttered mailing list, and then you automatically get an email with the link to the page that has the schedule on it. Okay, you do that at destinationdecluttered.com. My website, destinationdecluttered.com. There's a bunch of cool things there. Feel free to hang out, all right? And yay for LGV, got your shoes tidied up whilst you were here. I love it. This has been fun. I hope it's been helpful. Again, Monday I will return to TikTok. Just as a heads up too, that's the only one for next week too. And then it's almost April. All right. So this has been fun. I hope it's been helpful. And you got this. Okay. You can do it.